So up next is Tarek Abbas. He is a systems engineering director, Middle East and Africa at Palo Alto Networks. Before this, for 11 years, he worked at Juniper Networks as a regional pre-sales director and then regional director. In 2000, he was the systems engineer for Cisco Systems, and in 1998, he was the commissions engineer for Systems Information Systems Limited. He graduated with a Bachelor in Engineering and Computer Science and Communication from the American University of Beirut. This is an engineer par excellence, and he is passionate about technology, and Palo Alto is also one of our proud sponsors, and we are glad to have him. Over to you, Tarek Abbas, as you take us through this particular session. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Tarek Abbas, and I'm the SE Director for Palo Alto Networks in Middle East and Africa. I joined the company 5 years ago when the operation was much smaller, and over the last 5 years, we have seen tremendous growth in the region, and we have established our operations across multiple cities in Africa, including Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. And I look forward to working closely with different leaders in the continent to increase their security readiness in this challenging age of cyber attacks. Over the next 15 minutes, I will walk you through a very important topic, which is the role of technology in crucial times or in uncertain times. We have an old saying in this part of the world: hide your good money for your bad days. It made sense historically. While it still makes sense today, I think we should be looking at making use of our good technology to protect us in the rather challenging times we face. So please stay tuned for the next 15 minutes, and I hope you will find this presentation useful. So, over this presentation, in the next few slides, I will look at two main themes. First, I will look on the first 3 slides to focus on the potential uncertainties we might face and what advantages technology can offer, along with the important considerations for that. The second set of slides, the next 3 slides, will focus on what more specific lessons we have learned from the current COVID pandemic and how we can be better prepared for the next challenge by capitalizing on the learning from what we're seeing today. So to start with, we will start with the challenges and technologies, and we'll take it from there. The World Economic Forum laid out the top 10 risks, both in the orders of likelihood and impact that our societies face. And when it comes specifically to cybersecurity, please note that a lot of the CISOs, the field CISOs from Palo Alto, are part of the World Economic Forum cybersecurity force. As we can see, whether you look at the likelihood or at the impact, cybersecurity is among the top 10. And we today have the technology to deal with such uncertainties and to minimize the risk associated with them. What's even more important is that the same technology that I said we can use to deal with the cybersecurity threats and the cyber risks we face is in a way the same tool that will help us maintain as much as of a working order as we can during the challenging times. Of course, you can see on the slide a quadrant or a graph that labels to you where each topic sits when you look at the likelihood and you look both at the impact that it can have on our societies. I will be sharing the slides lately, but we will have a more detailed, and you can have a more detailed look into this. What's important to note as well is that not everything that we see on this slide is something that we can control as humans. There are something that will always come. The best we can do is to be prepared for it. So as we move forward, I want to look a little bit at what advantages can technology bring to the table. Most importantly, it can bring to us business continuity. We can ensure that with the right disaster recovery capacity and scale planning, our systems will continue to operate securely and efficiently at the time of the crisis, right? Additionally, technology will allow us to access our securely operating resources and protect our staff, devices, and data at the same time. IT will also help us increase the collaboration, especially with the utilization of cloud-delivered application that brings more resiliency to our environments. Specifically in Africa, on the longer term, it will also help us be more efficient financially and focus on consolidation were needed to bring more sense into the cost of operation. And I say specifically in Africa because we all know that in different parts of the continent, we have challenges with the infrastructure, and digitization and acceleration of cloud adoption could be the solution to that. So let us look a little bit now into the importance of this in a little bit more details and what technology can bring to the table and why is it important. And as you can see, I'm going to speak about cost optimization, consistent security, and speed and agility. Cost optimization via technology can be achieved by consolidation, public cloud adoption, automation, remote operations. This is key in uncertain times as all businesses and governments look closer at cost and dealing with the resource challenges that already exists before any emergency, right? We're all short specifically on cybersecurity resources. Technology can also bring a better and more consistent security posture across different parts of the network in compliance with local regulations, which again help us through automation address any shortage in resources, whether because we cannot find them to hire them, or whether because in times of competition, the market becomes more demanding, and we might lose some of the resources we have to competition. Technology can bring, as I said, a better posture and a more consistent one in compliance with regulations. And regulations vary across different countries, but at least the main baseline of technology regulations across much of the countries in Africa that we have dealt with share a big common base. This all results in an improved time to market for any service or activity. It drives simplicity, it optimizes IT resources by making sure we do not overinvest in any area on the expense of another area. I think, this concludes the first on what challenges we might be facing and what technology bring to the table. In the next set of slides, what I want to do is I want to, spend some time with you to look in more details around what we have learned from the pandemic, from the COVID, and use it as a practical example, what kind of recovery planning that we can look at, and what key actions we can learn from what we have faced, as a global society in the pandemic. So the next 3 slides, as I said, will focus mainly on the COVID learnings. Now, COVID learnings depend a lot on the infrastructure, on the health medical infrastructure any country has. But we want to look specifically at what role the technology can play to help us be better prepared to deal with such challenges. So what are we learning from the pandemic? We learned a lot. Specifically, as a vendor ourselves, Palo Alto was one of the first companies through the use of the technology we developed to make a seamless and almost trouble-free transition in operation from office-based environments to a lot of our employees working from home with a minimal impact on our business. We also were one of the first companies, if not the only company in the market, to bluntly commit to maintaining all our staff and all our resources during COVID, because we trusted that the technology we have will allow us to operate efficiently and also will allow our customers in turn to operate efficiently. And we are expecting and we are seeing an accelerated adoption from our customers to the technologies we develop and we are currently using ourselves for the same reasons. So we have learned as well that capacity and access planning is key. Secure Access Service Edge, known as SASE, is a key enabler for that, and Palo Alto is a leader in that area. Additionally, trust has always been a vulnerability in any operation, and thus our zero trust strategy and architecture has been a cornerstone for ourselves and for all key customers that we have worked with during the pandemic. COVID-19 has as well forced cloud adoption and accelerated digital transformation across multiple countries in the world. The ability to implement a multi-cloud comprehensive security strategy was the main enabler for a faster digital technology journey. And finally, the automation is key to a proactive platform operation, gathering threat data and intel, taking from multiple partners and automating the response. Because if you want to stick to a manual approach, you will definitely be at a disadvantage versus your competitors, in the business space, or you will be at a disadvantage of serving your citizens if you are a government agency. And again, this has been key for a lot of the customers and the government agencies that we have worked with. Let us look next at, with the help of the World Economic Forum, what is the plan for recovery? How do we plan? What are the guiding principles that we have, discussed with the World Economic Forum, and the World Economic Forum has published officially? What do we have over there? What we can learn from them, and how we can use technology to our advantage? First, I think it's very important to foster a culture of cyber resilience. Resilience is first and foremost a leadership issue, and is more a matter of strategy and culture than an immediate tactic. Being resilient requires those at the highest leadership levels to acknowledge the importance of proactive risk management and focus more and more on the ability of their organizations to absorb and recover from a cyber attack that would disrupt their essential services. It's also a wider security responsibility for the society. And Palo Alto has developed what we call a Cyber ACE program to specifically focus on educating students under the age of 17 years and starting from the age of 5 years old to be more cybersecurity aware. Second, you need to focus on protecting your critical assets and services. Businesses will have to prioritize resources and investments to the most essential areas to maintain operational continuity, protect the critical digital assets they have, and ensure compliance with local regulations and governance. This is also very important, and our technology is granular and addresses a lot of what such governance that comes from regulators expect from different government agencies or from different customers. Third, you need to update and you need to balance the risk-informed decisions during the crises and beyond. Businesses are making challenges to their operating model and technology landscape at an unprecedented scale and pace, which will require by itself some risk trade-offs as they adapt and respond urgently to the crisis. However, as we all and they enter the new normal, they will need to reassess the digital dependencies and risks they have, and what do they need to do specifically to restore their risk profile to an acceptable level. 4, we have to update and practice the response and business continuity plans that we have as part of our businesses. And as the business transitions to normal, we need to continue testing and optimizing such plans that we have. The COVID crisis has reminded us all as business leaders of the importance to adapt and test regularly our emergency and resilience plans against different disaster scenarios, including pandemics. Pandemics is not one of them. Not only ourselves, but how we can ensure that our key business partners and our suppliers, at least in the areas that we depend on them, can ensure business continuity to us. So we shouldn't look only through the optics of our own operation. We need to expand that to look at what our partners and what our wider ecosystem does. So we need also to use whatever tests we have to challenge the assumptions, such as recovery times, develop the means to be able to measure resilience, the response, the recovery, and all the capabilities we have developed or we have implemented to anticipate, withstand, and recover from any natural disaster. And these are typically the things that you need to look at when assessing the cybersecurity and the greater infrastructure that you have. Finally, and as I mentioned, we have to look at strengthening the ecosystem-wide collaboration, partnerships and collaborations on cyber resilience between not only you and your suppliers, but between also public governments and private sector peers across the ecosystem are essential in facilitating the transparent sharing of information and dealing with the challenges that everyone has. These are mainly the recommendations from the World Economic Forum. They are working guidelines. They're not tailored to each country's individual need, but I think everyone can use and tailor these principles to what matches best his own government agency or his own business. As I move towards the last slide of this short presentation, I want to look with you at the key actions that we can take now as a learning from COVID to secure not ourselves as we transition, to a more hopefully normal life, but to be better prepared, as I said, for the next pandemic or unforeseen uncertainty that hits us. First, we have to rebalance our priorities from technologies that are planned for normal business challenges to implementing technologies that can scale, respond, and automate in worst-case scenarios that are now more likely to happen than ever before. And, if you look at a lot of specifically medical experts, they have been warning, the global society of pandemics for a while now, and they anticipate more and more pandemics in the future. And the best we can do is to be prepared for it. The second thing, we need to reassess the business continuity plans. We need to grow our cybersecurity culture. We need to increase employee awareness and review the cybersecurity risks that we have and their impact on the business to justify the investments we need to make to the wider decision makers. I think focusing on business continuity will by itself justify the need to invest more and more in our underlying cybersecurity infrastructure. Third, a risk-driven cybersecurity approach is realized by adopting a zero trust security architecture. Zero trust first surfaced in the market multiple years back through a Forrester research written by a gentleman named John Kindervag. John Kindervag currently works for us with Palo Alto, and he brought with him that expertise, that vision, and started working with our product management groups to develop and realize that vision in whatever products we develop and into all our innovations. So this is something that you can be counting on us on because we are working with the key individual who developed such a blueprint. The next key action is about communication. And, I cannot, raise the importance of this specific point as much as I should. We need to keep a regular communication cadence with everyone, specifically in the times of challenges. We need to communicate what steps we have taken. We need to communicate the risks that we face. We need to maintain, the motivation and the readiness of everyone we work with. And it's not only about employees and executives. We have to expand that to the wider ecosystem that we have. Finally, I have to say, you cannot rely on point solutions and tactical firefighting. A platform capability with automation, agility, and scalability that allows you to automate action on meaningful threat intelligence data from your security partners of choice is really what makes the difference between success and failure in the times of uncertainty and responding to the business challenges that you have. This is, in brief, what I wanted to share with you during this interesting event. I hope that you enjoy the different sessions that you have. I am always available, and Palo Alto representatives in Africa are always available to help you and to work with you on addressing any challenges that you have and work with you hand in hand to plan for dealing with future challenges. Thanks a lot for your time today and have an excellent event. Thank you so much.